And joining us now for more via Teams is Northern Cape's Education MEC Zolile Monakali. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Could you first start by explaining to us the genesis, the inspiration behind this financial incentive that's being given to top achievers?
Thank you, it's episode, and good evening to the viewers. This episode, every year after we received our national results, we're having a matric award ceremony in the province. What we are doing, we are approaching our businesses in the province. MTN is one of the big sponsors, Vodacom, Telkom, and all those institutions. So what we are doing, we are recognizing excellence in the learners who have done very well with the outcomes of the matric results. So we are giving them incentives, we are giving them prizes, we are giving them bursaries even, we are giving them laptops and so on, just as a good gesture to say, you have done very well and you are being awarded for what you have done.
So the bursaries, is this the financial incentive that we're being told about that they're given? And could you confirm that the girl children are receiving more than the boy children, even though they're all top achievers?
No. We are giving them cash as well. We are giving them checks out as well. And we are not giving these checks or this cash prize out according to the performance of the learners. We are not giving girl children more than what we are giving boy children, but there are different prizes. For example, the top candidate in the province received a 50,000 check. But all the others received 10,000 checks, whether they are girls or boys, they got the same amount of money.
Okay. Let's go back to the strategy. So the whole understanding of inclusive education begins with identifying the unequal social relations. This is obviously of great significance given our history in this country. So when you were setting up the scheme, was there consideration of the various quintile levels and how to disperse the funds? As you say, it's according to a learner's personal achievement. But then because of the inequality of resources, there's a view that the schools that have, better funds and resources management are likely to produce better achievers than the obviously poor or previously disadvantaged or even currently disadvantaged schools.
That's episode, it's correct that when we are giving these awards out, we are taking cognizance of the socio-economic conditions in the Northern Cape. We are quite aware that there are schools that are in more affluent areas and there are schools that are in previously disadvantaged areas. So in our categorization of these prices, we are considering the different quintiles of schools. There are prices for quintile 1 learners, quintile 1 schools, quintile 2 schools, and quintile 3 schools. Because we do understand that the landscape is not at this point in time equal that we can compare a quintile 1 school with a quintile 5 school. So the prices are worked out in such a way that we recognize that inequality, that unequal landscape as it comes to socio-economic conditions. Even with our interventions in the schools, we are intervening more in our quintile 1, 2, and 3 schools than we are intervening in our previously model C schools or quintile 4 and 5 schools. So we are taking cognizance of the fact that the economic, social landscape is not equal at this point in time.
Okay, just in terms of learners and how they're stratified and differentiated in the schooling system, we see different provisions for different ability groupings. What is the long-term or even mid-term strategy for that? Learners being rewarded for their excellent academic achievements are viewed as more worthy, belonging to an elite group, and generally the perception is given more opportunities than the rest of learners at schools.
So we are following an all-inclusive system in the education. In other words, we are trying to make sure that we create a balanced system throughout. Learners who are coming from poor backgrounds the policies that the department is having are policies that are actually trying to affirm that, so that we can make sure they are not disadvantaged because of their backgrounds. Because we feel in the education space that your background cannot determine your future. So that's why we've got a lot of pro-poor policies in the department, where we are having no-fee schools, we are having feeding schemes at our schools, we're even assisting learners with uniforms, we've got scholar transport systems. All those interventions are to make sure that we accommodate the children from the poor backgrounds so that they cannot be disadvantaged. So we want to make sure that all our children...
Mr. Monakali, I think this question is beyond the economic aspect of it. So, for instance, it's been said that creating an environment that publicly rewards learner achievement in the top % of their cohort for the year actually creates undue pressure for not simply to achieve between 80 and 100% in any given subject, but to be within the top 20 highest results across the subject. So it's a physiological and psycho-social should I say, not necessarily discrimination, but, it does set others apart. So not everyone is academic. How are you ensuring that you bring others along while you are publicly recognizing top achievers?
That is why we are having these awards over a broad spectrum. We are not only recognizing the top achievers from fluent schools. We are also even this year started to recognize top achievers, for example, in sign language, learners with different abilities. So we are making it a total package. But what we are trying to do, we are trying to encourage even the current 2024 grade 12 to say that if you work hard, there will be an incentive. So it's not a matter of we want to put undue pressure on learners, but we are putting it as an incentive so that the learners can work hard. And we are doing this incentive, taking into cognizance all the different factors that is having an impact on the performance of learners. And from so far, we can say that with this matric awards, it's bringing competition even amongst the schools, amongst the principals, amongst the different districts. That's why there's a lot of competition, for example, between ZFM district and Namakwa district, because they are competing for these incentives, and that has a positive impact on the outcomes of our results.
Just the primary focus on exploring the possibility that the current competitive structure found in high schools, as manifested by the visible rewards, is it a barrier perhaps to inclusive education overall? Because there are things, and having been through the system myself, and I think everybody can attest to that, it is good to reward people who work harder, top achievers. But going beyond that, when you look at the system, the structure itself, it is beyond the learners. There are parents, there are teachers, the school governing body. What is your holistic approach going forward?
Going forward, we are of the view that if you want to make the education system in the Northern Cape successful, we must involve all stakeholders. And we've got other programs where we are rewarding all other stakeholders as well. For example, we've got Teachers Awards, where we are awarding our teachers who are performing very well. We are in a collaborative effort with SATU, Teachers Union, where they are recognizing teachers from their members who are doing very well. So we are not only concentrating on the learners, because we understand that for the education system to be successful, all stakeholders have a role to play. We are even working to assist parents, even, for example, parents who are having children who cannot afford to have school fees, or learners who don't have uniform, for example, so that to get the parents as well to say that they must play their role to assist learners so that we can have a performance of the whole system and not only grade 12. So all stakeholders has got a role to play, definitely.
All right, we really appreciate your time, Northern Cape MEC for Education, Zolile Monakali.